So, good evening. In yesterday's previous class, we have done with constructive and destructive interference conditions, and conditions. What we obtained was conditions for constructive interference. क्या कंडीशन आई थी हमारे पास? फर्स्ट कंडीशन है द फेज डिफरेंस should be फेज डिफरेंस बोले तो डेल्टा फाई, और डेल्टा फाई का काम कौन कर रहा है यहाँ पे? फाई शुड बी 2n पाई even multiples of pi, like 0, 2 pi, 4 pi, 6 pi, so similarly second, path difference we got to know path difference delta x is equals to n lambda, integral multiple of wavelengths, right? So path difference is n lambda, integer multiple of wavelengths lambda. These are the basic two conditions. अच्छा, resultant wave और initial waves क्या लिए रखे हमने? y1 is equals to a1 sin omega t, y2 is equals to a2 sin omega t plus phi, and what was the resultant wave? Kept y is equals to a sin omega t plus theta. This is the resultant wave. Displacement of resultant wave. This is the resultant wave of displacement of resultant wave. ठीक है? Similarly, where a is amplitude of resultant wave, and it is given by under root of a1 square a2 square 2a1 a2 cos phi. This result we already obtained, and these are the conditions of constructive interference. Similarly, since I guess it was quick because of the time lag, so and we couldn't do properly the condition of destructive interference, so I'm quickly revising it, although we did it. So conditions for destructive interference. So I'm again explaining what do we mean by destructive interference. Destructive interference means where the resultant intensity of the light should be minimum, right? That means the A should be minimum. Resultant A should be minimum. So for destructive interference, value of phi, A should be minimum when cos phi should be minimum. Cos phi should be minimum, and we know that the minimum value of cos phi is -1. Cos phi is -1. That means, and at what angles phi will be obtained as -1? So it can be obtained as pi, 3 pi, 5 pi, 7 pi, 9 pi, so on, 2n minus 1 pi. That means odd multiples of pi. You can write even 2n plus 1. If you want to put value of n as 0, 2n plus 1. If you want to start from 1, then again you can put 2n minus 1. So whatever you want, you can. 2n minus 1 pi. Phase difference between them should be 2n minus 1 pi. So it should be odd multiples of odd multiples of pi. So whenever there should be the phase difference of odd multiples of pi, then the interference which will take place should be destructive interference, right? All right. So now, what should be the resultant phase difference? So this is nothing but the phase difference. It means, can I write phase difference? That is first condition what we obtained, phase difference. Pi is nothing but the phase difference. Delta phi is equals to pi should be is equals to 2n minus 1 pi. This is the first condition of destructive interference. Now, based on this, we can calculate the path difference. So path difference, what is the related formula? Delta x is equals to lambda upon 2 pi into phase difference. This is the formula for path difference, right? I'm writing here, or let it be, it would be visible to all of you know. Delta x is equals to lambda upon 2 pi. Phase difference is what for destructive interference? 2n minus 1 pi. So I'll be substituting this value 2n minus 1 pi. So pi and pi gets cancelled. 2n minus 1 lambda by 2 is remaining term. 2n minus 1 lambda by 2. So this is the second condition. Condition number 2. That means for destructive interference, there should be two conditions. First, phase difference delta phi, or simplify, should be odd multiples of pi, and path difference delta x should be equals to 2n minus 1 lambda by 2. If I'll be substituting the values of n is equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, then I'll be getting lambda by 2 for n is equals to 1, 2, 3, so on. Lambda by 2, 3 lambda by 2, 5 lambda by 2, 7 lambda by 2, so on. So whenever there would be the difference of lambda by 2s, odd multiples of lambda by 2s, right? You can write odd multiples of lambda by 2. So whenever there is the path difference of odd multiples of lambda by 2, that means the interference which will take place should be the destructive. And whenever the path difference is lambda, 2 lambda, 3 lambda, n lambda, integral multiple of lambdas, then the path, which kind of interference will take place? It will take place as constructive. Getting this? So for constructive and destructive, we got it. Always there will be either constructive or destructive. It means either this will be taking place or this will be taking place for interference to occur. Otherwise, for different random angles or different random path angles or phase angles, the interference will not take place. There would be some general elimination, right? We will understand this, whatever I told later on, right? What did I mean that general elimination? All right. So I guess this is quite clear to all of you. How many of you understood till now? Okay, so let's rub it first. Now let's talk about the intensity and its relation with this amplitude and all. So since we know that, if you don't know, then still you should know now onwards. So what you should know, and what do you know that? You know that intensity of light is directly proportional to the amplitude of waves square. So let I is equals to resultant intensity of light or intensity of resultant light wave. I1 intensity of first light wave means it was coming from S1 source and all, right, in YDSA. And I2 intensity of second light. Getting this? So based on this data, whenever proportionality sign would be removed, some constant comes. So let's suppose it is K, and for resultant with respect to amplitude is capital A square, so equation 1. Or whatever equation you want, you may. So let it be equation number 1. This one is the equation number 1. And this implies that A square is equals to A1 square, A2 square, 2A1, A2 cos phi. I am substituting, although we have already discussed that derivation, there was the equation beforewards. So, but still I am giving you the second equation here separately, so that you'll get to know how do we need to proceed. So this is equation 1, equation 2, equation 3. Similarly, with respect to I1, there should be constant. What is K? K is proportionality constant. It means it will remain same. Proportionality constant. It will remain same for each and every intensity and amplitude constant. So I1 should be K into respective amplitudes square. What is respective? A1. So A1 square. 4. Similarly, I2 is equals to K A2 square. If still someone is confused how it's come, I1 is directly proportional to A1 square. Proportionality sign would be removed. K will come since K is proportionality constant. This K and this K and this K all are same K, right? Because we are dealing with a similar kind of concept. So K should not change. So I is equals to K1 square, K2 A1 square, K2 square, K square. If you look at here properly, then there should be something you might have seen, or we can do something so that we can convert such a relation, or we can obtain some relation between I1 and I2 by looking at here. Okay, what I can do here by multiplying both sides by K. So multiplying both side by proportionality constant K. K is what? Proportionality constant. Don't forget. So if I'll be multiplying both sides, then I'll be getting this K1 square, K2 square, because the K will be multiplied from each and every term. So I'm already multiplying with each and every term. K1 square, K2 square plus 2K A1 A2. Okay, don't forget here only K is being multiplied, so don't put it K1 into K2. Each term means the things which are separated by either plus or minus are known as terms. 2K1 A2 cos phi. Got it? Now, if I look at here, then by equation 3, I can directly write I. K1 square can be written as I1. K2 square can be written as I2. But there is no K1 square, no K2 square. There's nothing like that. But can we do that? Yes, we can do that. How we can do that? Look at here now. 2. Can I write A1 as under root A1 square? Yes, I may. Right. This is not a big deal. Can I write A2 as under root A2 square? Yes, you may. What's the big deal? Can I write K as under root K square? Yes. And under root K square can be written like under root K into under root K? Yes. Not a big deal. All right. I'm doing that way. K, I'm using one of the K, this one, root K. And A1 square, A1 as under root A1 square. I'm taking this A1 as under root A1 square here. See, A1 square will give you this A1 only. So till now, there is no objection at all, right? Everything is going fine. A2 and K, I have written like this. K A2 square. So under root K into under root K is giving out K. A1 is A1, under root A1 square is giving us A1. Under root A2 square is giving us A2. Perfect. Cos phi. Right? So I1 plus I2 plus 2. Now, in under root, this K1 square will be I1. This will be I2. Cos phi, let's write with some tamiz. I1 plus I2 plus 2 root I1, I2. And don't forget, cos phi is outside. Cos phi. So that's the relation of the resultant intensity of the light, equation number 6. Hence, the resultant intensity of light is given by light or light wave. You can write light wave. Light wave is given by the relation I is equals to, you can write, or IR, to more specifically, IRR means resultant intensity. So I would be equals to, so now onwards I'm gonna prefer IR only, right? So let it be till now I, but I'll be preferring IR so that I will not get confused whenever I'll be solving the numericals. I always prefer IR instead of I, because once we'll be dealing with some numericals, then there is some confusion, because the question will give us directly the value I. Let the intensity of light, the first wave is I. Then you will be taking I, and a question is also giving us the I1 value as I. You will get confused. So better always refer IR. So I prefer IR specifically. So now onwards, I'll be preferring this one only, right? Let it be, I'll substitute here only, so you won't get confused at any cost, right? IR will be is equals to, I1 plus I2 plus 2 root I1 I2, right? Cos phi. Clearly, the maximum value or minimum value of the intensity would be depending on the value of cos phi, or you can say this whole term, right? Right? If one wave is having the value I1, one wave which was about to superpose with another was having obviously the intensity I1 at some point, another I2 at some point. So total intensity of light during the general illumination should be I1 plus I2. All of you should you should agree with this, right? If there is some light means light is everywhere. So what is the total intensity? I1 plus I2, right? But what will make the difference here? This term. That's why this is called the interference term. So here 2 under root I1 I2 cos phi is called interference term. If this term will not present, then we will be having only IR is equals to I1 plus I2. In general, just like that, before superposition, what was the total intensity of light was? I1 plus I2. General illumination was there before superposition. And if still after superposition, I'll be getting I1 plus I2 only, then still I'll be saying that there is no interference occurred. It means for no interference occurring, the main condition should be this should disappear. If no interference should be there, it means what? This term should not be there. And if there is some interference taking place after superposition, then there should be some terms here. And if interference is a specific type, constructive or destructive, then again there should be some expression based on the constructive or destructive. Let's find out what it could be. So now case one for constructive interference. So we know that for constructive interference, that means maximum intensity should be obtained, right? Do not say that this would be the maximum intensity I1 plus I2. Why? Because there is another term is present. It means if this is 3 plus 2, then you will be getting only 5. But what if I'll be getting extra thing? Let it be 0.5, then still it would be 3 to 5, 5.5. it would be maximum than I1 plus I2, right? It means intensity should be higher, maximum at particular point. And similarly, it could be minimum. If there is no term, then always the intensity should remain always I1 plus I2. General elimination. If this term is not there before superposition, this answer would be there. After superposition, if there is no interference, it means this term is not there. The same answer will always be there. Whatever be the time, whatever be the situation, if interference is not occurring, always you will be getting only the answer I1 plus I2, I1 plus I2, I1 plus I2. It is 3 plus 2, 5, 3 plus 2, 5. General light, whatever right now you are able to see here is the general illuminance. Every time, every second, you are getting the light. That's why you are able to see each and everything, whatever I have written. Then, that's why there is no interferences occurred. Got it? That's why this is the general illumination. It means before superposition, after superposition, whatever light would be taking place or not, answer will be I1 plus I2 only. 3 plus 2, 5, 3 plus 2 plus 5. But if due to any situation, if the interference will occur, then there should be some interference term. This will be, and this will make the difference, and that's what we are going to obtain. So for constructing interference, that means the brightest fringe. For brightest fringes, phase difference should be. Now we can write directly, or we can use directly the conditions of constructive interference. For constructive interference, according to conditions of constructive interference, phase angle delta phi of phi should be is equals to. This is what phase angle between two waves. Phase angle should be is equals to 2n pi. 2n pi, or cos phi will be is equals to maximum, that would be plus 1 only. After substituting this value, I'll be getting this resultant intensity of light I1 plus I2 plus 2 root I1 I2. Done. Or you can write directly I1 I2 inside it. That will not make the difference. Equation number. This was the equation 6. The same equation I have written here. Equation 6, equation 7. कुछ हुआ? You should see it carefully, and you should have some कुछ होना चाहिए. Is there something कुछ?
Yes, sir.
So very good. This can be written in another way, no? This is I1 means under root I1 square, right? So I can write in that way, under root I1 square. I2 means I can write under root I2 whole square. It means I1 root I1 square again will give me I1. It means it's not changing anything. I2 can be written under root I2 square. It means under root I2 square will again about to give me I2 only. And this is already present I1 I2. So this is a square plus b square plus 2ab. It will be a plus b whole square. So what I should write? Under root I1 plus under root I2 whole square. So this is what? IR max. IR max. Maximum resultant intensity. So in the next line I am writing resultant intensity. Maximum resultant intensity of the light is given by under root I1 plus under root I2 whole square. Please do not make answer as under root I1 square plus under root I2 square, right? It will be simply I1 plus I2 then. This is under root I1 plus under root I2 whole square. How many of you understood till now? Please tell me. Okay, so let's discuss the special case. For this case one only. Case one only. Spatial case. What could be the spatial case? If I1 is equals to I2 is equals to let I naught. If whatever two waves which were about to interfere, about to superpose and giving us the concept of interference, whatever, then let's suppose both are having the same intensity, I naught. It means I1 is also I naught, I2 is also I naught. Then what should I substitute here? Under root I1 as I naught, right? So in case of first, I'll be substituting here. Not where should I substitute? Let it be a special case only. So I'll be substituting directly here. Special case. Then in general, the resultant intensity should be given as, because so many times the question has come in various examination, NEET and JEE. So that's why I'm doing that. I naught plus I naught 2 under root I naught cos phi. It would be IR is equals to 2 I naught plus I naught square. It will give us only I naught only, right? 2 I naught square. So I naught square and the under root will be cancel out and we'll be getting only 2 I naught cos phi. Now what is common? 2 I naught is
2
common.
I naught.
Very good.
2 I naught.
1 plus cos phi. 1 plus 1. I told something in the very beginning of the classes. Whenever this kind of term comes, what we need to do?
2 cos square
Cos
5 by
square
2.
5 by 2.
We need to cancel out this one. Whenever you will find the one with cos theta in plus or minus, we need to cancel out this one. Always remember that concept, right? Whenever one will be there with the cos theta with plus or minus, we need to cancel it out by using half angle property formula. What is the half angle property formula? Cos theta is equals to 2 cos square theta by 2 minus 1 or 1 minus 2 sin square theta by 2, right? This is the formula now. So which formula I should use here so that one will be cancelled out?
2 cos square theta
2
by
cos
2
square theta by 2 minus 1, right? So 2 I naught 2 cos square 5 by 2. Oh, sorry, 1 was there. 1 plus 2 cos square 5 by 2 minus 1. 1 and 1 gets cancelled and I am getting only 2 cos square 5 by 2 multiplied by 2 I naught. What is the final result? 4 I naught cos square 5 by 2. This is the resultant intensity if two coherent waves are having same intensity of light. Generally those waves which are coherent will give you the same intensity of light only, right? So in the questions, in general questions, means if this is not written, what is given, if you will be directly asked what is the resultant intensity of the light and you have not given anything I1 and about I1 and I2, that time you need to take by default I1 is equals to I2 is equals to I0, right? So this would be the final answer, and if this will be substituted here in this situation, then phi should be equals to, where the phi, cos phi is equals to 1. So cos phi will be equals to 1. So answer will be 1 plus 1 4 I naught, or cos phi 1 hai, cos square 5 by 2. What should be the cos square 5 by 2? If cos phi is equals to 1, then what should be the value of cos square 5 by 2?